Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and happy Independent Bookstore Day to everybody. I hope you guys were able to go out to your local indie bookstores, support, get some books from them. I went to mine. I posted about it on my TikTok. I'll see if I can link my TikTok below, but I did a whole post about it on my TikTok, and I went and I supported. I even entered a raffle that they had, so maybe I might win a $100 gift card. We shall see. But today's video, we are going to be talking about all of my auto-buy authors. We are going to first talk about some honorable mentions and some dishonorable mentions. I'll kind of explain more about that in a sec. But for the most part, all of my auto-buy authors are authors that I've read from before, I have loved. And at this point, as soon as they announce that they're releasing a new book, I will pre-order it. I don't even need to read the description. I need to know nothing about it. I'm just going to pre-order it because I know I've loved that author's work before. So I'm expecting to love this new one. Now, let's get into some honorable mentions. We'll rapid fire through these. The first one is Ellen Hildebrand. I read Hotel Nantucket last year, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and I even pre-ordered her book, Swan Song. Haven't read it yet, but at this point, I'm pretty sure if she announces her next book, I'm going to pre-order it again, just because I did love that one book so much. So Ellen Hildebrand is definitely on her way to being an auto-buy author, even though I can already say I'm gonna buy that next book no matter what, but it's not really set in stone because I've only read that one book. The next author is Kristen Hanna. I read Firefly Lane by her, I think also last year. I gave it 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as most people do, but I did think it was good. I own a bunch of her other books as well, and when she announces her next book, again, I will buy it. I'll pre-order it. Like I pre-ordered back here, I have The Women. I pre-ordered that as well. I don't think I'd even read one of her books at that time, but when her next book comes out, it will be pre-ordered without thought. And the next author is Douglas Stewart. I read his book Shuggie Bane a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it. Like as you can see, you see all my tabs here. I pre-ordered his book Young Mungo as well. I haven't read that one yet, but I think those are the only 2 books he currently has out. So whenever he announces his next book, like I said, it will be pre-ordered. Last honorable mention is John Gwynne. Now this one, I have not read a single John Gwynne yet. I do own Malice, the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen, as well as the entirety of the Bloodsworn Saga series. However, every time I tell someone that I want to read a Gwynne book, they say it's one of their favorite series. He's one of their favorite authors. My dad is a big John Gwynne fan. He loves everything he's written. So I am just kind of expecting that I'm going to love John Gwynne. So when he announces his next series, I already know I'm going to pre-order it. Even if I haven't picked up one of his books by then, I just feel like he's an author I'm going to love because everyone says how good he is. So I'll just pre-order it. I will. I know it's bad. I should really read one of his books, but what can I say? I'm just a girl. I'm going to pre-order it. I'm sorry. Next up, we have some dishonorable mentions. The first is Abby Jimenez. I have read one book by her that I've enjoyed, and the other 2 I did not like really at all. I do own her other book, Just for the Summer, and then her most recent release, what's it called? Say You'll Remember Me. Now, these 2 books could make or break whether Abby Jimenez stays an auto-buy author. I think I will like Just for the Summer. However, given some of the reviews of Say You'll Remember Me, I don't know if I'll like that. So once I read those 2, she may be getting the boot off of the current auto-buy authors list because I just have not been really loving a lot of her books. Next is Carrie Maniscalco. I read her Stalking Jack the Ripper series as well as the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I really did not like the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, especially book 3. In my entire life of being a reader, I started reading in 7th grade till now, and I think in all that time I've given about 12 books 1 star. I just don't tend to give out 1 stars that often. However, the 3rd book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series is one of those 1 stars. I really hated that book so much, which really just kind of taints the whole series for me. So I don't like that series. The Kingdom of the Wicked series, I gave the first book and the last book 2 stars, and then I gave the second book 4 stars. However, I did really enjoy that second book, but this is not a series I would ever recommend, even though I do have some fond feelings towards it, in spite of the fact of the 2 books that I didn't really like. I still, for some reason, that second book just really hit for me, but it's definitely not something I'm going to recommend. And I have not started her most recent series. The first book is Throne of the Fallen, and I think the second book's Throne of Lies or something like that. I have not started that, but that is a spinoff from Kingdom of the Wicked. And considering I have fond feelings for Kingdom of the Wicked, I'm feeling like I will like this new series maybe more than Kingdom of the Wicked. We shall see. I don't know. But I will pre-order the third book when it comes out because I pre-ordered the first and second book when they were released. So I'm probably just gonna keep pre-ordering that series. If she has another series where I pre-order it, I don't know. That's tentative. We'll see. But at least for this series, I'd probably just immediately pre-order it. All right, now let's get into the actual list. I have separated this out by genre. So we'll start with, I guess we'll start with nonfiction because I only have one author for that, and that is Patrick Raddenkeefe. He is the author of Empire of Pain as well as Say Nothing. I read Empire of Pain, I think late last year. I really enjoyed it. This is all about the Sackler dynasty, who were the family that basically single-handedly started the opioid epidemic within the US. I thought it was very informative, it was very interesting. And then Say Nothing, it's basically about, I'm currently reading right now, I'm only 20% of the way through, and it's basically like about like the IRA and the British in Ireland and like the, it's called the Troubles, and basically everything that was kind of happening with that. Like I said, I'm only 20% of the way through, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So much has happened, so much information, and I realized I really did not know a lot of what happened between Ireland and Britain. I obviously knew about like the potato famine, which again, until somewhat recently, like the past year or two, I really didn't even know that much about the potato famine. I thought it was an actual famine. It was a genocide. But he's been an author that I've clearly been enjoying. So I will look into his backlist. I don't know what other things he's written, but I do know if he announces a new book, I'm definitely going to pre-order it because I really do like his brand of nonfiction. I find them very interesting. The next genre we'll do is horror because I've got two for that, and the first one is Stephen Graham Jones. I've read My Heart is a Chainsaw and Night of the Mannequins, both by Stephen Graham Jones, and loved both. I'm actually so obsessed with My Heart is a Chainsaw. I have not continued on with the series. I know it's insane. And the next book is right here, Don't Fear the Reaper. I really should get to this. I know, it's just Stephen Graham Jones loves a long chapter, and I'm pretty sure there's a chapter in this book that's like 100 pages. And every time I think about picking this book up, I just think about how long that chapter is going to be. Even though I know I'm going to like it, I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's just, I don't know, the long chapters definitely scare me. But I've pretty much been pre-ordering everything else from Stephen Graham Jones as it's been announced. I bought I Was a Teenage Slasher, and then obviously I pre-ordered the third book in the My Heart is a Chainsaw series. That's not actually what it's called, but I can't remember what. I think it's Dragon Lake or something like that. I don't know. But I've already pre-ordered those. And definitely, I think he, oh no, and I pre-ordered Buffalo Hunter Hunter. That came in a little bit ago. I have that. And that's one I'm really excited to get to. So I definitely need to pick up more of his work. They all sound very interesting. And he's just an author that I really enjoy. And actually, today, for Independent Bookstore Day, I bought Mapping the Interior because I saw this at the bookstore, and I honestly never see any of his like novellas at bookstores. They always have his like full length novels, but they never have these. And I know nothing about this, but I grabbed it because it's Stephen Graham Jones. So like I said, author by author. If I see it, it's there. I don't own it. I'm buying it. Next up in horror is Grady Hendrix. I've read two books by him: The Southern Book of Guide to Saying Vampires, as well as My Best Friend's Exorcism. I loved both of these books. I think I gave them both 5 stars. I don't know, something about his writing and the way he was writing about both of these, I really enjoyed. And I'm pretty sure The Southern Book of Guide to Saying Vampires was my first horror book that I ever read, which I think Grady Hendrix is definitely a good intro to horror if you're thinking about getting into it, because he's definitely very more campy horror. It's not as like scary or as gruesome as some horror can get, and I definitely think it's a good way to dip your toes into the genre, which is what I did. And I just really love both those books, so I've been pre-ordering everything he's put out, as well as I think I just got in, what was it, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I just pre-ordered. You can see it's right here. So he's another author that I just really enjoy, and I like his works, and I like the way he writes. Our next genre is general slash literary fiction. And the first author for that is Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read, I think, almost everything in her like Hollywood multiverse except for Carrie Soda is Back. And I loved pretty much all of these. Seven Husbands of Hugo is probably my favorite, and it was my favorite of the, not last year, but 2023. I think I read it like right at the end of the year, and I loved it so much. Like 5 stars immediately. I knew it. It was amazing, and I'm excited to get to Carrie Soda is Back. And I've already pre-ordered her most recent release that's coming out. I think it's called Atmosphere, which is about like a NASA astronaut, which sounds interesting. So I'm excited to read that. I'm excited to get to it. I do plan on trying to like read the rest of her backlist, and as I think most of that is tends to be more romance slash women's fiction. I think that's more where it leans for her older reads. So I'll definitely get to those eventually, but the at least the Hollywood series, I love those. Next is Sally Rooney. I love Sally Rooney. I think I've read the entirety of her backlist. I know there's like a short story, I believe that she released that I haven't read, but I think that's the only thing of hers that she's published that I haven't read yet. And I've loved pretty much all of them. I think the only one that I rated somewhat lower was Conversations with Friends, but I think if I were to reread it, I'd probably like it more. Normal People and Intermezzo are definitely top two. I think they're kind of battling out for the top spot, but I think Normal People still edges it out just a bit. These were two books that like genuinely made me cry. They were so amazing, and like the characters, I feel like she makes them very believable. They seem very real. And Normal People is a book that has miscommunication as a trope, but the miscommunication is one that genuinely like didn't irritate me at all because it just felt so real. Like it's a conversation that I could see myself having and having those types of miscommunications with people, you know? I will be pre-ordering literally anything this woman publishes. I love all these books. I love her, and I think they're great. Granted, I feel like the time between books is quite a long while, or maybe I'm just impatient, but I am ready and willing for her next book, even though I know it's not going to come for like a couple years because Intermezzo just came out like last year. Last up in general slash literary fiction is Frederick Bachman. I have read two books by him, A Man Called Uva and My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, and I'm about 26% of the way through Beartown currently, and I'm already loving that book. I already know it's going to be a 5 star. And both My Man Called Uva and My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry were 5 stars. I have loved everything I've read by him. I'm only 20%, a quarter of the way through Beartown. I already know I'm going to love it. I don't know, the way he just writes, like one chapter you're laughing, the next chapter you're crying. It's just, I don't know, like he just has magic in these books, and they're so moving, and you feel so much for all of these characters. You love them, like they feel like they are your friends, they're your family, and I literally just love everything he writes. So I will be pre-ordering. I will be immediately buying anything he publishes. I currently have his newest release. I think it's called The Friends or Friends. That's already pre-ordered. I'm ready and willing for that to come out. I love this author so much. All right, our next genre is going to be romance, and the first up for that is Emily Henry. I have read almost everything she's published except for Happy Place, and then Great Big Beautiful Life was just published, so obviously I haven't read this one yet, and I have pretty much enjoyed everything she's published. I think my favorite is still People We Meet on Vacation, but I still do want to reread it and see if I like it as much. I did reread Beach Read because the first time I read it, I gave it 3 stars, and then I gave it 4 stars the second time around. And honestly, ever since then, anytime someone brings it up, I'm always like, I kind of want to reread it. So I don't know. Beach Read, maybe Beach Read is my favorite. I just don't know it, but I pretty much enjoyed most of these. Book Lovers, I felt so about. The dynamic between the sisters was kind of getting on my nerves in that one. And I think maybe because I'm a younger sister, not an older sister, I just don't relate as much to some of the choices Nora was making in that book. But even still, I still really enjoyed all these books. And even though I've yet to find like my 5 star Emily Henry book, I still will be pre ordering her books. I already know it. Like, I'm pretty sure, I feel like Happy Place has the potential to be my 5 star Emily Henry book, but we shall see. And I will say, Great Big Beautiful Life hasn't been getting the best reviews currently, but I still want to give this a chance. I know people say this leans more women's fiction than romance, like a lot of her other. I mean, most of her other books are women's fiction, but I think there's more of an even balance. And I guess in this one, it's pretty much like really heavy women's fiction, which I don't mind. Like I love a women's fiction, and I think going into it with that mindset, maybe I'll like it more. Our next author is Allie Hazelwood, and this is one that honestly probably could have been like an honorable mention, or even maybe somewhat a dishonorable mention. Because I will say I read all of her. No, I haven't read all of her feminist novels, but I've read most of them. I have not read Love Theoretically, and I mean, I didn't love the feminist novels. They weren't my favorite, especially the novellas. Really didn't like those at all. And then I read Check and Mate. I gave that 3 stars. So I've been very on Allie Hazelwood until I read Bride, and I gave that 5 stars. I loved that so much. It just felt like very classic paranormal romance. And me, I'm a paranormal romance girly. That's like the genre that like I cut my teeth on in reading. I love a paranormal romance, and I thought Bride was one that was great. And I know her newest one, Mate, I think is coming out in the fall. That's already pre-ordered, you already know. So I'm very excited for that one. And that definitely has the potential to have Ali Hazelwood, I guess, solidly be an auto buy author. Because right now I'm kind of about a lot of her works, but Bride ate, and I'm hoping Mate will also eat. Last up for romance is Mariana Zapata. I own every single book Mariana Zapata has published. I have not read every single book. If I'm remembering, I think I've read 4 of her books. I've read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, From Luke Off with Love, Under Lock, and Wait for It. And then I will say I did DNF Lingus just because the main character in that was being very annoying and very judgmental, and I wasn't liking her personality and how she was acting a lot of the times. But I may maybe give it a second chance. I don't know. But I just really like her books. Mariana Zapata is known as the queen of slow burn romance, and trust me, her books are slow burn. Like you're getting nothing until basically like the last chapter, and it's gonna be short. It's gonna be a pretty short scene, but I just love it. I love that slow build. I love seeing them slowly get closer and all those slow, sweet moments with them. I love Mariana Zapata. I'm gonna continue buying her books. I think she just announced. Yeah, she did just announce a new book, and I did pre-order it. I bought it off of her website. So I'm Mars upon a stan through and through. Now, our last category is fantasy, and first up in that is Brandon Sanderson. I have read the first 3 books in the Stormlight Archive, so The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and Oathbringer, and then I read the first book in the Mistborn series, and I think that's everything I've read for him. So I still have a lot of Brandon Sanderson to get through. Like, I still need to finish these 2 goddamn bricks. I want to start over on Mistborn and read through all of that. I've got all of his standalones. I've got his YA sci-fi. I've got Elantris, which I think Elantris and Warbreaker, which are like the Brandon Sanderson books I feel like people tell you to read because they're standalones. Though I think Elantris is becoming a series. When? I don't know. Probably not anytime soon, but it will. So I've got a lot of his backlist. I've got a lot of the Cosmere to read through, but I already know when he announces his next book, I'm going to buy it, and I'm probably not even going to look at what the synopsis is. It's just going to be bought. Next up is Joe Abercrombie. I have read the entirety of the First Law trilogy, as well as the First Law standalones, and then I've read the first book in the Age of Madness trilogy. And I've currently pre-ordered The Devils, which is his newest release, and I think this is the start of his newest series. And I'm a Joe Abercrombie stan. Like, I love all of his books. He's Lord Grimdark. That's what everyone in the fantasy realm calls him, and I love grimdark stories. I love a dark, gritty fantasy, and he gives me that every single time. He gives me the humor. He gives me the bleak darkness that is in his world, and I just really enjoy his writing, and I've really enjoyed all of his stories. And as well, I highly recommend, if you're going to get into the First Law, the audiobooks. They are amazing. That's what pretty much everyone recommended to me, and it's what everyone really recommends when you want to get into, because the voice actor is very good. So if you're going to get into it, definitely recommend the audiobooks. And he is an author that I love and I will love forever, and I'll keep buying all of his books. Next up is Leigh Bardugo, and I have read 3 books by Leigh Bardugo. I've read Ninth House, The Six of Crows, and Shadow and Bone. I did start the second book in the Shadow and Bone series. I DNF'd it. I couldn't put myself through it. I really did not enjoy that series, and I know everyone says that that series is like rough, and you just kind of have to like push yourself through, which is what I was trying to do, because I wanted to reread Six of Crows, and then finally read Crooked Kingdom, because I never read it the first time I read Six of Crows. So I really didn't like that series. However, Six of Crows and Ninth House I loved, especially Ninth House. I think Ninth House is my favorite by her. It was amazing. I loved Alex Stern. She probably one of my favorite characters. I know people don't tend to like her, but I loved her. I have not read Hellbent yet, but I am going to get to it. It's on my, shelf here of series I need to complete. So Leigh Bardugo is one I will be pre-ordering, because I already know whichever book she's coming out with next. I think it's going to be either the 3rd book in the Ninth House series, or probably another like standalone that she releases. I did pre-order The Familiar when it was announced, and I have that. I think I have that somewhere. Either, I don't know if, actually, maybe I don't. It might be in Florida. But I pre-ordered that, and whatever her next release is, which I'm hoping is the next book in the Ninth House series, it will be pre-ordered immediately. Now, our last author for today is R.F. Kuang, the author of the Poppy War series, which I have read the entirety of, and I love, I adore it. I think it is hands down probably one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. It's just, Fang Runin, that's my girl. I'm a Fang Runin apologist. Is she a war criminal? Maybe. But we all have flaws, okay? We all have flaws. I love her so much, and I will continue to read anything R.F. Kuang publishes. I am ready, so ready for her newest release, Catabasis, in August. I'm so excited for it. It sounds really good. It's supposed to be, I guess, it's supposed to have a bit more romance in it. However, with the way R.F. Kuang is, like we all know, if she writes something, it's going to be devastating. So I'm excited but scared for that one. I'm not going to lie. I am like 30-40% of the way through Babel currently, so I do need to finish that up, and I want to finish that before I get to Catabasis. And then I do also want to read Yellowface. That one's not a fantasy. That one is her like general fiction. I think it's her first general fiction. I haven't gotten to that one yet, but I will get to it eventually. But I love R.F. Kuang. Again, another author that I just will continue to buy from. She's probably the top one. If there was one singular author I could continue to buy from, I couldn't pre-order another book from any other author. R.F. Kuang would be the author that I would choose. She's the author that I would auto buy without a shadow of a doubt every single time. As of right now, who knows? I'm hoping that over time I'm not gonna like fall out of love with her books, but with the series that I read, I love that so much, and she's just going to be one of those authors that I'm going to love forever and ever. All right. So that is the end of today's video. Those are all of my auto buy authors, as well as some honorable mentions, some dishonorable mentions. Let me know down in the comments who are your auto buy authors, who's an author that no matter what they write, you're buying it. You don't need to read a synopsis. You don't need to hear anything about it. You're just going to buy it because you know it's by that author. Let me know down below, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.